Matthew Rule was born on November 24, 1958. He is the ninth of 10 children for Agnes and John Rule. Matthew was raised in Kansas City, where he attended Rockhurst High School in 1974 for 2 years and was then transferred to Regis High for the remaining 2 years required to complete high school. In 1977, he attended Regis University, where he was the first to triple major in English, philosophy, and religious studies. Matthew Rule was surrounded by Jesuits all his life and had a deep admiration for their philosophy. So upon his graduation in 1981, he felt he had no choice but to become a Jesuit.
Okay, so here's the deal. I am the ninth child of my mom and dad. And of those 9, 7 are boys. So I got 6 older brothers, and all of us were Jesuit educated. And so Jesuits were always in the house. Jesuits were always having dinner at our house. Jesuits would go on vacation with my big brothers. And as a youngster, I always admired these men who would come to the house. They were intelligent, but they were also very funny. Their conversation was engaging. And while some kids wanted to be a quarterback, or other kids wanted to be a footballer, or other kids wanted to be a basketball player, I wanted to be like these guys. That's what I wanted to be like. And that's how it happened.
Ordained June 11, 1992 in St. Louis, Missouri, Matthew Rule's first Mass was celebrated at St. Matthew the Apostle Catholic Church. He was an associate pastor at St. Matthew's and at St. Joseph Catholic Church in East St. Louis, Illinois before being named a pastor. He was named pastor of St. Matthew the Apostle in 1994, where he renovated the church, restored a gymnasium into a parish hall, opened Fat Matt's Barbecue, traveled to China twice, Vietnam, Bangkok, Hong Kong, opened up a new grade school, studied 2 summers in Japan, took final vows in 2001, left St. Matthew's, toured Paris, London, and Rome before being reassigned.
I was first a pastor in my 30s. I was a pastor by 35 years of age, which is very young to be a pastor. It was, especially in my day, I was the youngest pastor around. And I had to allow the church to form me as a pastor. I am so aware of how badly I needed to grow as a pastor. And if you want to talk about growing pains, I would say in my entire life, the most difficult growing pains I've ever experienced was trying to conform myself to the role of pastor. And there were days I never ever seriously thought about leaving the priesthood or the Jesuits, but I will say that I spent a great deal of time thinking about how pleasant it would be to have a little house in southern Missouri on a river where I could just go catfishing and leave the rest of the world behind. I used to think about that somewhat regularly early in my pastoral career.
He was named pastor of St. Francis Xavier in Kansas City, Missouri in August of 2001. Renovated the church, kayaked down the Missouri River 2,500 miles in 61 days. Eliminated substantial debt and left St. Francis in 2010. He and some others bicycled across the USA from Cape Flattery, Washington to Key West, Florida, 5,000 miles in 100 days, followed by 2 months of study in Jerusalem. He then became pastor of St. Martin de Porres Parish in Belize City, Belize in June of 2011.
By far, the most ambitious project I've undertaken is this little church called St. Martin de Porres. This has been and shall continue to be a first-class adventure and a first-rate challenge. I have never done anything that requires more thought more energy, more prayer than being the pastor of St. Martin's.
I would describe Father Matt as a very passionate Jesuit priest with a solid message every week for anyone to follow, and to lead a good life.
Father Matt always reminds us that he is a Jesuit, and he understands what it means to be a Jesuit, and he lives from those roots.
Father Matt displays the true spirit, the true mission of the Jesuits, which is discerning God's presence in everyday life and doing something about it.
I think by the wider Jesuit community, Matt Rule is viewed as, how should we say this, a bit of a spark plug, I think is the way to put it. Matt's kind of a live wire. Anybody who knows Matt knows that he's full of energy, and he's full of life, and he's full of humor, and he just kind of says whatever's on his mind, like it or not, and most people laugh at it, thankfully.
You ever hear the expression, that guy's never met a stranger? That's Rule. He's never met a stranger. He's open to everybody. I think that openness, that spirit of receptiveness of other people as they are, who they are, I like that. That's really a marvelous characteristic in him.
Just looking at how he interacts with children, how he interacts with adults, it's across the board. Father Matt is able to relate to any person, young, middle-aged, old, rich, poor, whatever the case may be. And he is very caring in his style. He is very funny, and I really enjoy who he is as a person, and his homilies, his preaching always leave me in a very reflective mode, because almost always he touches upon something that you can connect with.
A great deal of attention goes into my words. I know that it looks like I come down off the pulpit and I talk, and it looks like it's very conversational. But everything that I say, I've been thinking about for these 25 years. I don't shoot from the hip as much as it may look like I do. I really think about that. And the Society of Jesus and their rigorous education prepared me to speak the way I do.
One of the things that amazed me about working with Matt Rule is that he's terrible at administration. Man, don't ask him to balance the checkbook or anything like that. But the cool thing is that he recognizes that about himself. But now here's the amazing thing that I kind of envy about him. So Matt has this way of formulating a vision in his head, and he puts it out there and he shares it with the congregation, and he's got this way of just getting people excited about this vision. So excited that he's able to find people to come in and do the work. So Matt doesn't have to be a great administrator because he's a great leader. He's able to find people who can kind of fill in the gaps.
He has given me hope that there's a real potential to really grab this generation that we have right now and really make things better. It's that St. Martin's area, that community area there, the things that Father Matt has engaged in, working with the school children at the area, working in a neighborhood, there's a very strong hope that we can really make a positive impact on that whole community.
The best part about being a Jesuit is meeting so many cool people, and they're holy. I mean, most of the people at St. Martin's have no idea how holy they are, and if I were to tell them how holy they are, they'd go, "Cha, what? Go fire." But they are. I am inspired by the holiness and the strength and the wisdom of the people of St. Martin's, and it's this is what makes being a Jesuit so wonderful, is the people that it's brought me in contact with.
I've been lucky to be a member of the St. Martin's de Porres Parish for the last 32 years. We've had some very amazing priests there, Father Stokel. I mean, I could go on with the different guys and the good messages they have. I really like the thinking of the Jesuit priests, because they're really adapting to change. And in this life, you know, with so many changes happening in technology, in the world situations, you have to really come up with new approaches to deal with old problems. And Father Matt and all the other Jesuit priests really take that role serious. You could see with our Pope Francis, he's really amazing, the new way he's tackling situations. So I definitely grateful to Father Matt. I look forward to going to church and receiving new messages and that challenge that he gives. And I think we all need that strong challenge to become better people and do more for our brothers and sisters. So I thank Father Matt for that.
The people of St. Martin's, oh so darn smart. They don't need me to tell them how to do something. They just need their pastor to cheerlead. And I think more than anything else in this parish, I'm a cheerleader. That's what I do. That's what I do. And I think that's my role. Everybody here is so smart and so willing to work. All I got to do is say, okay, let's get going. Let's do this. And it happens.
He has been just a superb Jesuit in the mind of what I would think Ignatius would be looking for in a Jesuit.
You can't help but be inspired because you see someone who's truly walking the talk. I want to thank you, Father Matt, for who you are to us. We love you, and you have helped us to become our better selves, and I certainly hope that your experience of being here in Belize, and more specifically here at St. Martin de Porres, interacting with all ages and really challenging us and loving us through it. I certainly hope that you too have grown and know how much God loves you and how much we love you.
Father Matt has inspired me and so many others to believe in ourselves, believe in those around us, and to always have faith and hope and know that one day there will come a time when things will get better. Father Matt, thank you. As you celebrate your 25th year of priesthood, of being a Jesuit priest, thank you. I congratulate you.
Maddie, congratulations on 25 years of being a priest. One of my earliest memories of you, I was in high school and you were at Green Hills. You were in the bunkhouse making your retreat, and I think it was your 8-day retreat before you were ordained. I was there doing a retreat, like a high school retreat or something like that. I feel a lot of gratitude for your vocation, for your priesthood, at the risk of sounding a little pious, but and a lot of gratitude for your friendship. And I look forward to getting back down to Belize, and I look forward to serving St. Martin de Porres with you a little bit more, celebrating some masses with you, and continuing to learn from you. So thanks for everything. Thanks for putting up with me for those 3 years. Take care, brother. We'll see you soon.